everyone, I'm Colleen with Awaken Catholic, and this is Awaken the Saint. Today's saint bears a story that feels a little bit like the beginning of a fairy tale. Saint Balthilde of Chelles had a life that was nothing short of incredible. Born sometime around 626, she was presumably an Anglo-Saxon Christian, possibly of noble birth. At a young age, she was captured and sold as a slave in Gaul. Noticing her beauty and pious nature, she was purchased by the mayor of Neustria, who made her his cupbearer. Balthilde was so pleasant in manners, humility, and virtue that the mayor decided to make her his wife. But this was not what Balthilde wanted, so she avoided the marriage by dressing herself in rags and hiding from her master until he eventually chose to marry another woman. Years later, the Frankish king Clovis II visited Neustria Palace, where he fell in love with the beautiful and dignified Balthilde. He consequently asked for her hand in marriage, and this time she did not run and hide. The young king married Balthilde, raising the slave girl to the status of queen. Despite her new status, she is said to have maintained a pious and humble attitude, always keenly aware that her first duty was always to serve the Lord. The king entrusted to her management of the court and control of charitable funds, which she generously spent in service of the church and the poor. Balthilde became the mother of 3 future kings, Clothar, Theuderic, and Childeric. And when her husband died around 657, she became the queen regent until her eldest son came of age to take his father's throne. As queen ruler, Balthilde was famous for her compassionate legislation, enacting laws that reduced taxes, stopped the purchasing of leadership status in the church, and prevented the buying and selling of Christian slaves. According to legend, she was known to purchase slaves from the markets in order to give them their freedom. She also purportedly gave away her own gold and silver to help the poor, donated royal lands to the church, and even had a huge convent built at Chelles, near Paris. Some sources differ on the timeline and even the exact reason for her retirement, but sometime around 665, presumably when her son ascended to the throne, she gave up her queenly powers and withdrew to her convent in Chelles. At the convent, she lived a humble and pious life of virtue, where she willingly served her sisters in the kitchen and even cleaned the latrines. When she became ill and it was clear that she was dying, she had a dream of herself ascending the staircase to heaven to receive her eternal reward. She died at the age of 50 in the year 680. Reports of miracles began surrounding her tomb, including one story of a boy who was miraculously delivered from demonic possession. Balthilde had an incredible life journey from powerless slave to powerful queen, and she never ceased to recognize the responsibility that came with that power. Her story is a reminder that no matter your status in life, you should never stop serving. May we learn from her example and recognize that each of us has a responsibility to impact the world around us with the love of Christ. Saint Balthilde of Chelles, pray for us.
Thank you for tuning in to Awaken the Saint. Awaken the Saint is made in partnership by Spoke Street Media and Awaken Catholic.